Okay. Does competition exist between Scrum teams? And would I encourage it? Yes and yes. Next question. Competition isn't necessarily unhealthy. It can become unhealthy. Does competition exist between teams? Yeah, of course it does. You've got groups of professionals who want to do the best job they can. Do they take pride in how they're working, in the quality of their work, in the outcomes that they deliver? I hope so. That's a key part to making this stuff work. So if I've got two teams who are driven to deliver great stuff for their customers, are they going to compete? Yeah, probably. Is that not the nature of people, is to want to be good at stuff, to be better? You know? And remember, as Scrum Masters, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create an environment where they can be better. What we've got to watch out for is when that switches from being better than they were to being better than those people are. Okay? We are not after competition in the one-upmanship sense. I don't need to be better than the other team. I need to be better than I was yesterday. What we're switching there is from the healthy levels of competition, where they're going to drive each other forwards, to unhealthy, where they're going to hold each other back. Okay? Healthy competition is great because teams accelerate in these environments. They're thinking, how do I be better than I was? How do they be better than they were? Because we all improve. These teams share. Okay, I found this thing. Do you want to know how it works? See if it works for you. And it's shared freely. And therefore, they all get the benefit of all their learnings. One team can learn a huge amount. Every week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, they're taking time out to think, how do we be better? And they're running experiments all the time, maybe 1, 2, 3 a week, to see what works and what doesn't, to improve themselves. Wonderful. That means maybe they have 50 opportunities across a year to improve. That's good. That's a really good place to be, but that's one team. If I've got another team that is running in a similar approach, trying similar things in the same organisation, they're going to come up with different answers to the question, how do we improve this week? That means that I'm going to have potentially another 50, maybe another 25, but more ideas in the pot. And they're going to experiment with them and try them out. And I've got more answers about what does and doesn't work for this team in this organisation that could be useful for the first team. They've now got access to not 50 but maybe 100 different ideas that can help them improve, some of which have been pre-validated, some of which haven't because the other team hasn't got them yet. There's more ideas for them to play with. There's more opportunities for them to improve. There's another group of people to learn from. Competition doesn't have to be unhealthy. In fact, it can be incredibly healthy for the teams. What we've got to watch out for, as I mentioned, though, is when it becomes unhealthy, when it becomes us versus them. And human nature kicks in and people get a bit funny and suddenly we're not helping each other, we're not sharing. Okay? And in fact, you do see teams actively hold each other back. They don't deliver things that they know the other team are dependent on. They don't do things because that means that they do worse, or at least they're perceived to be worse as a team. What I always watch out for is when we are comparing teams. What happens? What happens to the good ones, however we define good, and what happens to the bad ones? Okay? In that situation, it is not about being top of the board. It's about not being at the bottom. Those environments create unhealthy conflict. You will have teams deliberately affect each other's outcomes, and then we need to deal with that. But we don't need to deal with the team. That is a symptom of the organisational structure, its policies, its processes. As Scrum Masters, we need to go and have that conversation. It's hard. It's not fun. Okay? So, do teams become competitive? Yes. Is it a good idea? In the right environments, yes, it absolutely is. In the wrong environments, it can be to the detriment of everybody. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.